Yeah, because like literally, I'm seeing way too much things on it. Like this Jubilee billionaire stuff. I'm the son of a billionaire. Asking billionaire questions.
Today, I think we've all sat here and we've heard you talk about your jet and Maui and your 3 homes and the money that sits in your account that you don't care to touch. What stops you from helping every person in this room that's struggling right now? How do you help them? What do you do? Because you got a private jet, but I had to take off from work today and I'm struggling. I got bills, man.
Like nothing. The way he just looked at the camera, bro. He be licking the
Morgan,
temple.
founder of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest.
John Morgan. Oh, the law firm. Yo, they unless you win, that's the only way they get paid. If you lose, they don't get paid. Yo, see, this thing started popping up everywhere, like literally. Just lawyers and shit. I never thought he. No comment, bro.
Largest injury law firm. And according to Forbes, I'm a billionaire. Ask me anything.
My first question is, how much are you currently worth? And how did you amass that amount of money?
I'm a lawyer. I went to law school and became a lawyer, but I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I built and operate a chain of attractions across America. I have Marriott hotels across America. I built shopping centers. The big part of my wealth has been generated by my law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Well, I don't know exactly how much I'm worth. I used to tell my kids when they were little, when their friends would ask them, are we rich or not? I said, the answer is this: we're comfortable.
What do you mean comfortable? Like, you definitely have way more than just being comfortable. You live a luxury life.
Do you call being worth $1 billion comfortable?
Very.
Yeah. You can do anything you want. Anything.
And
even going after kids. Yeah, you could. But like, so I don't know why they started doing. People started billionaires and millionaires start doing that once they become rich and shit.
but you don't feel like it because you don't spend it. When you grow up a certain way, it's not like it's changed much in my life. I'm in the same house. I don't spend the money that you would think I'd spend. It's odd because you have all this money in the bank, but it doesn't really change what you do day to day.
My question for you is, what stops you from using your wealth to change somebody's life?
Nothing. Listen, I live 3 places. I live in Florida, I live in Maui, Hawaii, and I live in New Hampshire. But I've taken my wealth and done certain things, like in Florida where I live. I ran a constitutional amendment twice to legalize medical marijuana. I lost the first time, but I won the second time with 72% of the vote. I believe that income inequality is the #1 issue facing America today. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And every day the gulf is getting wider. So what did I do? I ran a constitutional amendment. I spent tens of millions of dollars to raise the minimum wage from $8 an hour to $15 an hour in Florida. That's a doubling of the minimum wage. So I take that money that I make and I've run those constitutional amendments and I've put money into food banks and coalition.
What the flip is this nigga wearing? Do you know what it reminds me of? Okay, no hate to him. Bro, do you know what, man?
Constitutional amendments, and I've
No comment.
put money into food banks and coalition for the homeless, and it goes on. And I will tell you this, not to pat me on the back too much about it, because I don't really feel it. I don't really feel it. I was at lunch the other day, and this woman walks up to me, she says, "John, I just want to thank you and your wife for the donation you made to iDignity." I didn't know what iDignity was. I said, "How much do we give?" She said, $500,000. It turns out that my wife had given the money. And by the way, if you want money, call my wife. And iDignity is a place for the poorest of the poor to get identification, because more and more in this country, you need to have an identification just to get food stamps. I believe when you make this kind of money, you have an obligation to give it back. You don't feel it. It doesn't hurt you. You know, you can look at me and know I'm not missing too many meals. So I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
Okay, so like basically what I'm hearing is he does not feel he's rich. He doesn't feel rich. He don't mind my hair and shit. Bro, I did not pick my hair. Look at it. Look at it. My whole me not picking it today. Tomorrow, my whole shit is gonna be hard to pick. Everything is gonna be cold and everything. Just even like all cold and shit. Bro. But anyways, yeah, he doesn't feel rich. He is rich. Doesn't spend the money in his bank account. Well, he, like you said, he just feels stable. Like he can do what he wants. He's comfortable living. It gives him the financial stability, and he feels comfortable.
Anything special. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
So I'm going to try to rephrase it. What stops you from getting out that car at the moment where you and your son, and you seen the homeless person? What stopped you from changing that person's life?
Nothing. Just what he wants. What's to do now? What the flip? What the flip?
Well, I do get out of the car from sometimes. When I pull up to a stoplight and there's somebody out there begging for food, even if they look like they've been eating donuts for the last 10 years, I give them money, because I'm not going to judge them. I look at them this way. They're out there on the street in the heat. I don't know what they're doing out there, but you know what? It's not my job to judge.
I feel like a lot of billionaires, they say the same thing. They say they do donate and they do.
They do. Okay, I know hate. What they do, it's basically that those shits they be doing. It's not all of them, but like some of them he could be telling the truth. It's possible. There's always a possibility in everything. There's always a chance. Always a chance. What did I say again? I forgot.
Give to people. You give to organizations and large conglomerates that take your money and they break it up and they throw it around. If you're not handing something down to help somebody who...
Technically, isn't that what you should be doing? Instead of just giving it to one place, you can just help give it to an organization. It's called CRS. It's corporate social responsibility, something like that. And yeah, it's kind of, it depends. Companies just do that just to build trust in their brand and shit. You're like, who knows?
really needs it, then what does it matter?
You're in the law field, and that's how you've amassed
Ebo? Nigga Nigerian, bro?
your network and everything that you've earned. If you had to
Ebo.
start over in a different industry, what would you be in order to become a billionaire again?
I don't even know how it happened in the first place. So it's like keep waiting to wake up.
He does know how that happened. Do you see how many YouTubers be fucking doing sponsor for this? Morgan and Morgan. Every single video I'm seeing Yudi. Fucking Mr. What's his name? No, okay, Gideon. Gideon do that? No, I don't think so. Not Mr. What's this nigga's name? Skeeter G. Every single video, Morgan and Morgan. These niggas are paying him a lot, and the people from his and all these other places coming to him and basically come to the business and actually checking it out and shit.
Up and it was all a dream. I was like, how did this happen? Listen, here's my problem. I suck in math and I suck in science, so there's not many jobs left for me after that. But my gut tells me I want to go to Wall Street and make deals like that. But what I would probably do is stay in the attraction business that I'm in. I love that business because there's no fighting. And I did it as a hobby. I've always thought what I could have done with my attraction and amusement business if I'd had it full time instead of, it was more like collecting stamps than anything, to tell you the truth.
So you made some comments about liking capitalism and how much legislation you did for raising the minimum wage for $15 an hour here in Florida. Is there anyone at your law firm or your multiple businesses that you're paying less than $15 an hour now?
No.
Was better set up. That was not. He's chill. He's not gonna say anything. He's way too chill.
And I wasn't paying less then because I believe that a living wage is a civil right. I also believe that retaining employees with a living wage and bonuses, it's good for business. I believe by paying more to my employees, I keep them, attrition is lower, and
Yeah, true. And the quality of the, since they're getting paid much, and other places they're paying less to them. They stay and the quality is kind of higher because they don't want to be fighting and stuff. You know what I mean?
believe it or not, although it sounds backwards, I believe by paying more, I make more because I keep people, and my people are really all I have.
So in your opinion, why aren't other billionaires doing the same thing that you're doing?
Well, I think some are and some aren't. A lot of people have to, like once I raised the minimum wage here in Florida, all of a sudden, out of the blue, Universal raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I kind of took credit for that. At a certain point, when wages start to rise, businesses have to respond, because if Universal's paying $15, then
Another
business
business
got
has
to
to,
pay $15, because who cares if you're running Small World or Harry Potter? You're looking for a job.
So you mentioned a little bit how you've put money into politics and things like that, and in the current political climate in the United States, our government's run by the billionaires, kind of for the billionaires. What do you think the moral role of a billionaire should be within the United States government?
By and large, the opposite of what it is. These fat cats got so much money, but they want the tax laws to benefit them. Like these hedge fund people don't even pay taxes. And so the billionaires.
No, listen. They have fucking reset. Oh, so literally evade tax. Start a business in fucking Cancun or some shit. That's actually funny. So like, instead of basically, arguing and saying, oh, why do you guys not paying tax? Just do the same thing. Learn from them. You don't learn. You don't have to, what's it called? Like you say, if you can't beat them, join them. That's always the thing. Join them. If you cannot beat them, just join them. Easy. Boom. Just learn it. I swear, people already created ways they do it. It's literally YouTube. You can search up how to evade tax. Okay, that's now I'm trolling. Okay, legally evade it. Yeah, and they use literally debt to pay for this shit. It's something called good debt, something like that. They're still looking at me, bro. Stop, yo, stop.
Are not satisfied with what they have. They want more and more and more and more. And what my worry is, this income inequality, at some point there's a breaking point. At some point you can become Cuba. And what I would say to these billionaires, you're going to make this gulf so big and so vast just because you don't think it could ever happen in America. Just remember January 6th. Just remember them storming the Capitol. Those were the barbarians at the gate, and they were mad as hell. And you know what they're mad about? They were mad because they think they're going to fall further and further behind. They weren't mad, and they thought Donald Trump was the one that could do it for them. But that's why they stormed the Capitol. And when I saw it, I said, that could be our future if we let the haves and the have-nots get so separated.
I think everybody knows that probably every single billionaire does evade taxes. And he did say that he wants billionaires to be taxed so high, but I can promise you he probably has found ways to evade taxes.
Back in around
Yeah, instead of complaining, do it too. It's not that hard. Okay, it's not. I wouldn't say it's not hard. Because they use banks, not really. Yeah, they do. To get how you get. Because how the fuck are you gonna get that? Like, if you instead of complaining, just join them. Join. Like literally, just join.
around like 1940s, you know, the tax rate was around like 90s, higher.
Fucking companies. I saw something. I don't know if it's real. It says 0 per year. How the fuck does that work?
than 90%, right? Would you be somebody that would advocate to bring back such a high tax rate in order to redistribute the wealth?
I don't know about 90% because you got to have some motivation. Listen, I am a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. But I also believe we have to do the most for the most with the least.
So when you mention capitalism, right? Capitalism is kind of inherently parasitical, right? You're going to always take more from the workers. You're going to put a profit on their labor that they're putting into the business. And I think now we're seeing that capitalism inherently causes these income inequalities. So I think we need to expand those social safety nets. We need to increase taxes on the wealthy in order to allow the poor to enjoy, you know, the things that maybe you enjoyed when you were younger and things like that.
Well, look, I agree with you. And I think it's really for these people who are so rich, they're going to lose it one way or the other if they don't. Because look, the thing about, you got socialism and capitalism. Socialism on paper makes a lot of sense. But then you got to count on everybody working. Will they all work? But in the short run, what we're seeing right now with this big, beautiful bill that they're talking about, we're talking about cutting all sorts of benefits to give more money to the rich and dig our country into trillions of more long-term debt. And I look at it and I scratch my head. The rich should be taxed bigger and harder. And so the reason I'm more for capitalism is because if you go to a socialistic country like France.
France is not socialist.
France is not?
No. You look at, let's say China. We'll give China for example.
China's not. China's communism. I've been to China.
China's not communist.
Huh?
China's not communist. They're run by the Chinese Communist Party, but they're not.
What are they?
They're a socialist country.
Socialist?
Yes. And you look at their infrastructure.
Hey man, I've been to
their
China.
Wealth inequality, and it's actually, you know, pretty good.
Have you ever been to China?
Have I? No.
Let me tell you something. It is the most oppressed country I've ever been to.
Look, no. China is not oppressed. Look at China. China they have great social safety nets.
You need to go to China and watch the people with their heads down.
This is a completely different China we're talking about. I'm talking
about China today.
I'm talking, yeah, okay, if we're talking about China today, then no.
Then you have drank the wrong Kool-Aid.
I was like, oh, I'm the only Asian person in the room, so it's like so weird to see somebody kind of like debate about a country that my mom is from. I would have to agree with John more in terms of like China being a communist country.
John, I'm a parent, and one of the challenges I have is making sure that my mindset is not my children's mindset. How do you overcome that challenge as a billionaire to make sure your children have their own mindsets?
That's hard to do because they live with you and they hear you. The interesting thing about life is you get older, you start listening to your children, you're like, they're stealing all my shit. I said that, I did that. But what I used to tell them is this: when you're watching me, take the good parts and leave the bad parts. And the thing I used to tell my kids is the only thing that I want you to be, I don't care what you are other than this, I want you to be a compassionate human being. I want you to put other people first. And that's the only mindset that I wanted them to take, and I think that they have done that.
One of my goals, I think, is to make my kids better than me. What's your main challenge that you see as a billionaire making your kids better than you?
The main challenge is that your children do not feel entitled. There's nothing worse than an entitled person, somebody who was born with a silver spoon stuck up their butt, and they become the worst person in the world. I never bought my kids nice cars because I knew they were going to be dinged. And you have to make your kids work. You have to have consequences that are consistent. But the main thing you have to do, if I was giving advice as a parent, you got to spend a whole lot of time. It's all about the time. And remember this, your child is one friend away from total disaster. And when you see that friend, you got to separate that friend as hard as it is.
True. It's kind of like basically like what's it called? Kids who were trained good, like nice neighborhood, nice parents, you know. Oh, they be doing all these good things. Oh yeah, my son doesn't do this. Kids, yeah. Some of them don't know their son do it. Just the friend basically influences them. That's why they say bad company needs to fucking. What's it called? Okay, scratch that. Leave that. Okay, we don't talk about that. Okay. They say, isn't it like a bad friend corrupts good mind, something like that? Bad company corrupts good mind. So let's say your friends be smoking and stuff. Eventually, you're going to be influenced by them, and let's say, oh, I want to try it one time. One time turns to 2 times. 2 times into fucking 59 times. 50. Then after 100, oh yeah. Oh, it's just like all this other crazy shit. Like, depends on if you hang out with them every single time, you're going to eventually become like that. It's just logic and humanity and shit. People you hang out with, you get traits from them. You hang out with your parents more, you're gonna be more like your parents. It's obvious.
So you just mentioned that when you have a child who is having a friend that you find them to be not good for them, essentially, that you have to do what you can to separate them. As a
W dad. He doesn't.
billionaire, what does that entail for you?
Well, you can only do so much. I mean, I've only separated 2 friends in all the years. And one was a kid who used to come over and, you know, he just reeked of marijuana and he was stoned and I just had a bad vibe. And I said, look, so-and-so, you can't go over there and he can't come over here. My son Matthew was enraged. You can't tell me who's going to be my friend. I said, I'm telling you, you can't.
That's how you basically. Okay, there's 2 ways that could go. Either your kids start hating you, or actually listens and eventually becomes, you know, something good.
Can't go there and they can't come here. But you can't stop them at school. You can't stop them
true.
at a certain point. Later in life, I was justified because that kid that I was worried about ended up in prison.
I'm someone who works with youth in Orlando. I spend every moment of my days to coach and develop the youth in Orlando. And I work with at-risk youth. And one of the biggest things that I have seen in Orlando is that since medical marijuana was passed as a bill in Florida, marijuana use has become normalized among the youth and those that are underaged. One of the things that you mentioned earlier is that you didn't allow your son to be friends with someone who smoked pot because he smelled loud and he smoked weed. So why would you advocate for a bill like that to be passed when you kicked someone out of your family's circle?
In there, fucking the issue and just being the issue and, you know, providing a solution. That just reminds me. It's like some iPhone shit. What Apple does, bro. Create issue and give you the solution. That's a smart way to make business and shit.
Who was smoking weed themselves.
When my brother was paralyzed, they had him on Percocet, Xanax, and everything else. The only thing that gave him relief, immediate relief, was marijuana. Listen, I believe that marijuana use at an early age fries the mind. I drug tested my children a lot, and my son Matthew failed that drug test a lot. But here's the difference. Would I rather have my brother taking marijuana gummy or opioids, fentanyl? It's a no-brainer. So I don't think marijuana use is on the rise. Let me tell you something. If you want marijuana today, go to any middle school in America.
Yep.
For some reason, why the fuck does every nigga know where to buy it? Everyone knows the plug. Everyone knew, like, what? Like, what? Like, yo. Okay, what am I? Yeah, no, we don't talk about it. Everyone knows the plug for some reason. But the guy in the back, Loki looks like he's shocked. He's not wrong. The guy's not wrong.
And we'll have a nickel bag real fast.
Yeah. So do you feel that there's an ethical gray area when it comes to use of marijuana or other drugs in the youth or in adults in our country? And do you think that that leads to potentially a ethical gray area for you as a billionaire as it relates to other things in your life?
Medical marijuana, no way. Because listen, where I think the unethical conduct is coming from is from the pharmaceutical industry. Marijuana is a plant that was put into earth by God or by nature, and it works. I don't know how it works. I don't know how aloe works, but when you rub aloe on sunscreen, it goes away. So I feel very good, morally, ethically, every single way about what I did with medical marijuana. And here's the proof in the pudding. 1 million people in Florida have a card, and guess who uses it mostly? People 65 and older. Go to the marijuana stores, look at the marijuana stores, look who's going in. It ain't kids, it's me.
Yeah, so I'm still really confused about the marijuana thing. I feel like with a lot of billionaires, they do want to care for people, but they really don't want them around them. So that's what I feel that you feel with the marijuana. You're fine with people growing it. You're fine with people doing whatever. But right when it's in your house, you don't really care about the person. And you want them not around you or your family.
I'd take a gummy every night. It's in my house what are you talking about?
Then why did you kick the person out of your house?
He was
He was smelling like fucking marijuana and shit. Smelled like weed.
Kid who I thought was not just that he reeked of.
Who was on the skin? He would be. If you're always stoned, what time do you have for studying and shit? It's no time. Actually, probably.
Marijuana. He was a kid who I thought was bad news. I didn't think that he was smoking marijuana. I thought he was selling marijuana. Look, I think all of Matthew's friends smoke marijuana. And so that wasn't the issue. The issue was this guy might be a criminal. This
He was definitely black.
guy is a...
He was definitely black. Man might be a criminal. Yeah. He might have been black. I'm watching 20 people confront a billionaire. John Morgan. I see. Go watch that shit right now, bro.
bad influence. So don't take it the wrong way.
Okay, so you kind of briefly talked on like for-profit CEOs and things like that. I was just kind of hoping to hear your take on the current state of healthcare and what recently occurred with their CEO.
Before I answer that question, I want to go back to the coach's question about marijuana, just so everybody understands where I stand. If John Morgan was king, I'd legalize marijuana all over the country, and I'd let you grow it at your house. So that's how I feel about marijuana. As far as the healthcare, think about this for a minute. There's only one place that we go ever, and we never ask what it costs. When you go to get your hair cut, what's the cost? When you go to buy a candy bar, what's the cost? When you walk into a hospital, none of us ever ask what it's going to cost. You can get a Tylenol pill over here for 20 bucks. It could be $1 at the other hospital. The of the insurance industry by healthcare is awful. It's off the charts. Our pharmaceuticals in this country are way more money than pharmaceuticals in his favorite country, China. And so you've got the health care where we don't ask what things cost, and then you've got insurance companies who are fighting health care, and they're trying to gouge, the hospitals are trying to gouge, the insurance companies are trying to not be gouged. they're fighting, and guess who's stuck in the middle? The person who needs treatment, the person who has cancer, and they're saying, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that. And then what happens? People go postal, people snap.
So would you be in favor then of a socialized form of healthcare in the United States?
I don't know how it will work. Listen,
Every other
Barack O-
country, every other major country has a socialized form of healthcare.
When Obama was president, he came to my house as president. I supported Obama. I'm on the National Finance Committee for Obama. And one of the things that I really liked about Obama was Obamacare. A lot of people lost their House seats for voting for Obamacare. So listen, I'm all ears about anything we can do to get more medicine and more treatment to people. My brother-in-law is a physician up in Haines City, Florida. I have a clinic called the Morgan & Morgan Clinic where he runs it, I fund it, and we take care of everybody who has lost in the system who can't get care.
How do you deal with profiting over other people's injuries in your law firm?
Every business is in business to make a profit. If you don't have a profit, you don't have
How's business gonna run? How you gonna pay your staff and shit? How you gonna pay everyone? There's no way to pay him. What the heck? Yeah, like literally, if the business not running, you cannot pay anyone. And there's no business at the end. No business.
a business. On the other side of me and on the other side of my clients are insurance companies. Insurance companies do this. They take in premiums and they try not to pay claims. When they try not to pay claims fairly, that's when I'm hired. When I'm hired, the people who are hiring me cannot afford a lawyer by the hour. And the insurance industry, they live in this world. Deny, delay, defend. Their job is to never be fair with you. The people who come to me at their time of need are people who've had something taken from them. The business I'm in is being the key to the courthouse for people who can't afford it, taking all of the risk, and believe me, I've lost some cases where I've written off millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, the only thing between me and them getting a fair shake from the insurance industry is what we do, which is take them to trial. So I never even realized it could be this lucrative until I got in it. But I've also scaled it in such a way that most personal injury firms are like, one-trick ponies in one city. I built mine throughout the entire United States, and by having the scale that I have, my profit got a lot bigger.
You have mentioned before that you make money off of people's injuries and stuff like that. Do you think it's ethical to, I don't want to say take advantage of people, but take
Okay, I know there's probably someone in the comments. Okay, never mind.
advantage of people when they're most vulnerable?
Yo, hopefully this does not get posted on Instagram. Yo, I know damn well someone's gonna clown this nigga, bro. I'm sorry for saying that, but like, someone is going to clown him. Bro. Yeah. Okay, we don't talk about it.
I think what I do is highly ethical. I think that the insurance industry is very unethical. I believe that I'm the difference between people getting back what was taken from them and relying on the insurance company. I believe that what I do is almost, not quite, like a ministry, because people come to me in their most desperate hour, whether they've lost their home, lost a life, lost a limb, lost livelihood, and they have no way to fight back. So I can tell you this, I sleep very well with what I do and why I do it, because I am the civil police representing the people who cannot have a voice for themselves. I got into this business because my brother Tim was paralyzed, so I got to see what it's like to be on the other side. I got to see what it's like to be the poor person that's being oppressed. And I'll tell you what, it is the worst feeling in the whole world to be hopeless, powerless, helpless. And when you get to step in and even the playing field and say, hey, that ain't gonna happen. And when they try to give you peanuts, we're like, we're not taking peanuts. When I walk into my lobbies throughout America, when I see those clients sitting there, I see my brother, I see my family, and I want to treat them exactly the way I would have wanted to be treated.
Do you believe most billionaires and lawyers are compassionate?
I think it all depends on the person. I believe what's helped me in my life was I came from a very difficult childhood with a lot of economic insecurity and alcoholism. Everything bad that you could think happened did happen. But the good thing about those things, if you take it the right way, is those things can generate later in life serious compassion on your part. Whenever I would see somebody homeless, I used to tell my children, just remember this, they don't want to be there. And once upon a time, that was a little girl and little boy eating an ice cream cone, swinging, having the time of their life. And they don't want to be there. And don't judge them because we don't know how they got there.
John, how do you care for your clients when you're done with them? I know your motto is for the people, but it seems like it's only for the client. Up until a certain point, the award is won, the case is closed. How do you take care of your people after you're done with them?
Here's how I take care of the people. I change conduct. I just got a big verdict against Takata airbags down in Miami a few weeks ago. I can promise you this, because of my cases, Takata is changing their conduct. I'm one of the lawyers on the opioid cases. These pharmaceutical companies were killing us. That's not happening anymore. I have cases against the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry is in the business of premeditated murder. These are evil, evil, evil companies. And so for the people, not my clients, the people who I'll never represent, the people who will never know me, I'm changing conduct.
My question to you, throughout law school, I heard a lot that lawyers are the reason why insurance costs so much and is expensive. So what is your take on that?
Well, you heard that from the insurance industry. There's been tort reform after tort reform all across America. And you know why they have this, what's called tort reform? To take away your rights, my rights, their rights. They say, we're going to take certain rights away from you and your rates are going to go down. But here's what's never happened. They've never tied one of those bills to a mandatory decrease of insurance premiums. These insurance companies take premiums in, they make bad investments, and then they say, oh, the lawyers are causing us to make bad investments. No, the lawyers aren't the problem. The insurance companies who run their companies poorly are the problem, and they just want bigger profits. And by the way, when you go home, Google their profits. Google what their CEOs are making. They're not hurting. They're making a lot of money.
If you lost all of your wealth tomorrow, what would be your next step in this struggling economy? Do you think you could pull it off? Do you think you could be just as successful?
I think if I did this again, I would not be this successful. This has been a series of left turns and right turns, and all of a sudden you end up here. I'm not arrogant enough. I believe that 99% of what's happened to me is luck or blessings or whatever you want to call it.
I'm a pastor, and one of the core tenets of many faith systems in the world is a rejection of possessions and wealth. Do you feel like you had to sacrifice part of yourself or your faith or your family to be able to get where you are today?
I think, yeah, everything has to needs a sacrifice. If you think about it, you cannot get somewhere without removing everything. Okay, it's kind of like taking away your like parties and stuff. So trying to accomplish something, like let's say you're trying to become a doctor, you're not going to parties. You're reading, doing such and such, whatever you're doing, and after boom, you eventually become doctor because like you have to remove the distractions from you. You have to negate it. Basically, distance yourself away from it, from people who do all those type of things. But maybe you don't distance yourself from it. You just stay away from it. Yeah, same shit. Whatever. Sacrifice it. Sacrifice. That's the one he used. Had to sacrifice it so you can focus and you're in the right mind to actually go for the thing. It's certain thing you're trying to become.
Not at all.
Yes. Oh, never mind.
Because my faith has been at the forefront of everything I've done. It's the teachings from my faith guide me not only in my life, but in my business life. And those lessons are fairly clear to me. Do I think I need to take a vow of poverty? I don't think so. If I'd done that, I would have been a Catholic priest. So no, I have never found a conflict in making money in my faith. I think the conflict would be if I made money and didn't use my money for what I've been taught to use my money for. What my goal is I don't live anywhere near what I make, except,
Basically, living a humble life. I don't know.
My jet, and that is excess, but I don't live that way, and my goal now is that I think my children are set. I do not want to leave the government one penny. I think that, if you want to see your money wasted, give it to Congress. And what I want to do is I want to do as much as I can while I'm alive and leave a huge amount of money into a foundation, and that will say at that foundation, faith without works is dead.
I personally work at my family's cafe, and I was wondering, how much do you normally tip customer service workers that are in serving positions?
$100, and I'll tell you why. We're a member of 3 different churches, and my wife gives away, I don't even know what she gives to these churches, but I am much
fucking million, bro.
more interested in leaving $100 tips for my servers and for the people who cut my hair than throwing $100 in the collection plate, because $100 to somebody can change their day. I got a case one time where a little boy was killed by a bus in Jacksonville. My investigator called me and said, I just think I'd tell you how we got this case. I said, how? He said, the woman met you once. I said, when did she meet me? 5 years ago. Where? It was Christmas Eve at Bob Evans. And I went there for breakfast with my daughter. And she told my investigator, and he left me a $100 tip. That's why she called me. So I don't know where your cafe is, but let me know and I'll come in and
Yeah, you lucky should.
Amazing.
leave you a $100 tip.
I'll definitely let you know. That's an amazing tip. Thank you, John.
Do you believe it's justifiable to be worth $1 billion while millions live in poverty?
No. If I could undo it all and let us all be the same, that's what I would do.
Okay, and do you believe, because I heard something about how you don't agree with the government spending, which I actually do agree with, so how would you split up the money?
The most to the most with the least. I believe that there are people that are, and I don't believe it, I know it. When you go out to the Morgan Hunger Relief Center, the people that are walking in there are not the homeless. They're walking in there dressed in work clothes with their children to get free food. And it's an abomination.
Yeah, because I go to the University of Florida because I remember you mentioning it. And one thing I've noticed as a college student is that there is a lot of corruption throughout it, from the president, even from student government, funneling millions. And then when I look into to see what happened to them, nothing really happened. They didn't go to jail or anything.
Look, the University of Florida, they hired this president who was just a buddy of the governor's, and he came up there and ripped the University of Florida and took so much money, and he's still on the payroll, Ben Sass.
Yeah, that's what a lot of college students are talking about.
It's
yeah.
an outrage. And by the way, when you Google those articles, the alligator, I'm all over those all over those articles, ripping him a new.
So you just mentioned that.
Who the hell is that? Ben Sass. Ben. Former senator. Like chill. What's it called? Is that Florida? Crazy.
Everyone's a politician now, but you also said that you also have done at least 2 different things with legislation. So would you consider yourself to also be a politician?
Sorta. You know, everybody wants me to run for governor of Florida right now. When I'd go to the White House, they'd take me over to the side and show me polling on me. And there's a side of me that thinks I could be good at it, but then there's a side of me that really enjoys living in Maui half the year. So I became sort of a politician because, listen, they were fighting me hard on the minimum wage. They were fighting me hard on medical marijuana. And I was out debating sheriffs, and everybody I was debating had a green suit on and a gun. So it's like, you know, a little hard to debate them. So I was sort of a politician because I was in the political realm. And that's why all this talk about me, about people wanting me to run for governor is percolating.
So today, I think we've all sat here and we've heard you talk about your jet and Maui and your 3 homes and the money that sits in your account that you don't care to touch. I think we all have experienced at some point in time that moment that you talked about as a kid, sitting there hoping and praying that somebody would help you. So I guess my question that you didn't really answer, you just told me how much you have. What stops you from helping every person in this room that's struggling right now, that can't pay a bill, had to miss out on work? How do you help them? What do you do? Because you got a private jet, but I had to take off from work today, and I'm struggling. I got bills, man. And I'm not begging for money, but I'm saying, what stops you from being able to go and help us and change our lives? Because
let me give you 100 while we're here.
No, this nigga decided to take it. What the fuck am I watching? What the fuck? Yo, I just watched the 20 people confront a billionaire, John Morgan, the guy who made basically founder of Morgan and shit. Yo. And this nigga said, "Oh, I'm not begging for money, but I'm just gonna, I'm just struggling. How can you help everyone?" Yeah, basically staying given this point. Nigga pulled up the $100 bill, and this nigga decided to go take it. Damn, this nigga traded his dignity for money. Oh my days. I know damn well if the billionaire says, "Oh, come lick my car," yo, pause. Come lick, yeah, he's gonna do it. What the flip, bro? What the? So that just fucked up his point. He said, "I'm not begging for money," and decides to take the money. Decides to take the money. I'm not begging for money. Crazy. Yo, who walked up like a good doggy. Ooh. Yeah. He should have told him, bark for me, bro. Bark for me. No. Like crazy. Crazy. What the flip? And he's gonna walk back too. Like a good boy. Good dog. Yo, he should have thrown him a bone too. Go fetch that shit like a dog. Crazy, bro. What the flip?
Thank you.
Don't buy marijuana.
No, I don't smoke.
At
I
the
don't
middle
drink.
school.
No, man.
Nothing stops me. Listen, here's how I look at it. I went to
Think it's shit. Like, think about it. Think about it. Did you see you made? Who started the company? He did. Who started it? He did. Like, literally. Why the fuck are nigga risk his whole everything? Because there's always a chance that your business does not run or does not work, and there's always a chance you lose money too. Who started the whole thing? He did. And so how the fuck niggas begging for handouts? Meanwhile, you didn't work hard enough to get to the same area. And instead of asking him stupid question like this, nigga asked him to be your mentor. Like, literally, you have a billionaire. What other chance you have in your life to even meet a billionaire? It's like 0 point some. Actually, I don't know if it's zero. You probably walk by billionaires like all the time, maybe. But like, who knows? But you don't know. But like, at least ask him to be your mentor. Ask, learn from him. Billionaire is sitting right in front of you. It's a, I'm struggling. Yo, you trying to be my mentor? Please, no. Get his number too. This, that. Get his LinkedIn. Get like everything he has. And talk to him. All right, boom. That's how you eventually get connection and a job. Boom, boom. Like, still, good game, bro. What the flip? Good game. What the fuck, bro? He came up. Ooh, good dog, bro. Yo, he should pet him on the head too, bro. Pet him on the head.
to a religious retreat one time under duress. It was called a Crescio. And I thought it was going to be a bunch of bullshit, and it was basically a bunch of bullshit. But at the very end, it all came down to one thing that I took from that meeting. And here's what I took. I can't change the whole world. I would love to be able to. But the phrase that I took from that Crescio weekend was, bloom where you're planted. What does that mean? That means I can't solve hardly anything. But every once in a while, I'll get a God whisper, somebody asking. Then I think back to that Crescio, and it's like, bloom where you're planted. And I feel like at this moment, that's what I'm being asked to do. And I can only do so much. I'm trying to manage my money so that at the end of it all, it can have the greatest bang for its buck.
You know, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure if there's anything that would have been a perfect answer, just because he's really good at talking to you and he's a likable guy. Would have been a perfect answer, just because he's really good at talking to you and he's a likable guy.
Paid off. Nigga got paid off. Your dignity for it. Pay it off, yo. Yeah, take this money and shut your bitch ass up. Take this money and suck it up. Everything you want to say, shut up. Take it. Take it. Take it. Bark for me now. Ooh, bark. 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 You have to. I already gave you that money. Already gave you that money. Bark. Get on your knees right now. Bark for me. You know, do a spin. Roll around. Yo, like, this nigga, what the flip? This nigga, actually went to go take the money. But free money, though, so. Free money. I can't even let you.
And he's soft in the eyes, so it's easy for him to
pause. Looking at another month, eye for him. Quiet for the
to get you on his side. So I don't know if there's anything he could have said that would have completely changed my mind. But I think showing your actions, he handed me $100, but there were people in the room had told their stories throughout the day. And with a wad of cash in your hand, you could shut me up, but he could have given it to everybody. He could have shown in that moment that he has the power to change your life, and he could try to change your life. Even if it's a small amount, it's better than nothing. And he didn't really do that.
One of the takeaways I took is there was a quiet desperation, a little bit of a worry about the future, and a little resentment about people who have money.
So I think billionaires are inherently parasitical to society as a whole. No matter how they accumulated that wealth, they're always going to be profiting off of the backs of people who are doing the work. In his case, he's the
They started the whole business themselves. Think about it, they started, break for time, employ other people to work for them. And from there on, it's basically like a tycoon game. It becomes a tycoon game, if you know what I mean. If you ever played a game that basically you have to you can just do anything. You just basically sit down and chill. Everyone works for you. You probably get phone calls and shit, and you just boss people around this or get mad. Just
better
do it.
of evil system in general. While he is helping injured people get the settlement that they feel they deserve, he is still profiting off of advocating for that injury.
I'm of the volition that there's nothing wrong with billionaires. I am a rabid capitalist, and I know John talked about that a lot, but that is who I am. That is my background. I think that if you have a financial wealth, yes, you should definitely do good things with it, and you need to help the people around you. That's just moral code. But I don't believe that billionaires are inherently bad, or they're out to prove world domination or something of the sort like that.
I think a lot of the questions are going to help me reflect on those questions and what I should and am doing.
Yo, I can't even lie to you. Crazy. And Bill, shut up.